issues about privacy. I'd like to ask Eric, you start what you would do with me, would you keep it in bloom, and if not, why not? Eric.
It's almost like I can't really read.
I'm sorry? That this whole issue of data mining has become a major question in terms of the ability of vendors to be able to develop curriculum specifically tailored to individual students if they know their particular needs. That's the theory behind this InBloom consortium that the Gates Foundation has been supporting, but only the New York City and New York State are remaining strong, vehement, and remaining within this InBloom system.
Yeah, I disagree with that. I think the Department of Education should have a standard curriculum for all the students. And I also believe that the corporation should be out of the Department of Education, especially the Class B from Mr. Mayor trying to give the morning after pill to young ladies of only 13 and 14 years old without the consent of the parents. That is unacceptable. You can be programmed, you can be pro-choice, but when they give the after pill to a children that is only 13 years old, 14 years old, without the consent of the parents, and the mayor spending almost $3 million in this program, and yet he says he don't have money to pay the teacher, he don't have money to close the contract with the bus driver, but he has money to go after the African American and the Latino community and give pills to prevent more people from coming to this world. That is unacceptable. And if that is going to run that program, it should not be the school, and it should be always with the consent of the parents.
Yes, on the question of data mining, I don't think we should be giving private companies personal information about any of our kids, period. And let's try to figure out what kind of thinking is behind this concept. The idea that teachers don't know how to teach their kids, that an entire Department of Education, even the size of ours, with 1.2 million kids, with an operating budget of $23 billion a year, we can't figure out how to teach our kids, and we have to go outsource to a private consulting company that is then going to charge a lot of money and then use our kids' information for who knows what. So let's be real here. We're running schools, not marketing firms. And then finally, let's
from Judge Kay's proposal that will greatly reduce suspension. One last thing, I want to stop the practice that principals have been doing, so let's not also realize principals have work to do, of sending kids with behavior issues to emergency rooms. That's absolutely unacceptable. So it's not just the police, principals have work to do on this too.
On the same topic, and I said no. And I'm going to go back for a bit. I was formerly the president of the New York City Board of Education. We transferred the Office of School Safety to the jurisdiction of the police department. There was a memorandum of understanding. And in that memorandum of understanding, it laid out the facts. You wanted the additional training, you wanted to have safe environments. But the principal was supposed to be the decision maker in what would happen to a child. It wasn't supposed to be left up to a school safety agent. It was supposed to be left up to the principal. The one thing that I remember saying, and others, we didn't want to see students who had done the same things that we had done, fist fighting, pushing, and things like that, who wound up with an arrest record. What has happened under this mayor and this chancellor, or really all chancellors, they've criminalized things that children do. We're seeing 4-year-olds, we're seeing 7-year-olds taken out of handcuffs. We're seeing our young people with arrest records for nothing more than pushing and shoving. It is wrong. And what we're seeing is this overrepresentation of Black and Latino students who are being arrested. They're the ones who are being taken out. They're the ones also who are being excessively suspended in schools these days also. It needs to end. So I don't want to take away the training from the police department. What I do want to take away is the ability to say, this child gets arrested. It was always supposed to be with the educational professional, with the principal of the school. That should be the decision-making person, not a school safety agent who feels that somebody insulted them and then they wind up arrested, or a child who just pushes and shoves and they wind up arrested. It's wrong. We need to stop.
Thank you. Well, I always had my reservations about the transfer of school safety officers over to PD. Because that's the police department's core mission is trying to control schools. I believe that an officer assigned to school, and that's fine, you can have that in a large high school, but to turn the entire department, school safety officers, over to the police department, I think it was a mistake. Mayor Giuliani did that. I mean, his entire answer to everything was, police everywhere. I'm a former dean in a high school, and the way to maintain discipline in the high school is to make sure the class size is manageable, that we have support services, guidance counselors who actually trying to talk to kids, and having a social worker there, having a nurse in the building, having school activities, sports programs, music programs, art programs. If you want to keep suspensions down, and if you want to handle discipline in a better way, that's the way to do it. You have to provide the resources. And the principal and the dean should really be handling this with working with the school safety officers, who should be under the umbrella of the Department of Education, rather than the police department. I think the police department has better things to do in terms of dealing with some serious crimes out in our streets, rather than being responsible for what happens in all high schools and grammar schools. This makes no sense. We need to go back to that. School safety officers do a great job, but I don't think the police department should be running the school safety division.
Imposition of all these standardized tests are increasingly arguing for the right of parents to opt out of telling the school they don't want their children tested. Do you support that option being provided to parents so they can opt out of testing their children?
given up the responsibility from ourselves and sort of surrendered it to the corporations. Now we monetize and sort of are sustaining an education industry, an education infrastructure that essentially we've given up our education, given it to them. We need to take ownership of that process once again. That's why the community schools model works. The community schools model opens up the school, gives it back to the neighborhood, extends it to 7 days a week, puts arts and culture and sports back into the school, brings health services into the school. We re-engineer the funding that we give to the community organizations in our neighborhoods and funnel them through the school. The school should be the town center and the place where education happens in a whole